Good night.
Hi,
How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How was
Good.
your day?
Long. Long. I had a long one today, so yeah.
Fair enough. Welcome, everyone. Okay, so are you ready to get started?
You want to give a couple more people to come in, or you want to go ahead and jump on?
Well, what I'll do is I'll just start with the introductions
Sure.
while persons coming.
Okay.
Okay, so welcome everyone to the Make It Happen with Chamara interview series. I am your host, Chamara Hollingsworth of Vision to Reality International. And I focus on helping women to make bold, decisive action in their businesses and take their business from vision to reality.
Okay.
And the purpose of this interview series really is to inspire women to just do better, be better, and use other women as the way to show them what is out there and what is possible,
Okay.
right? So I have with me Rhasheda Skeete. Rhasheda is the owner and operator of the Virtual Assistant. She is a serial entrepreneur whose journey started through unemployment. Not known for giving up, Rashida started uh, um, by converting her 18 plus years of administrative know-how and customer service training to create a remote administrative solution for busy entrepreneurs, one of her three business ventures. A savvy business professional with a position for streamlining processes and digital marketing, Rashida aims for her brands to be a household factor, becoming the go-to for anything virtual admin related. Rashida is also the mother of two boys with a strong belief in constantly seeking knowledge and enhancing one's skill set. She is an avid reader and lives by the old adage, perseverance seldom fails. Welcome, Rashida.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so what we usually do is have a little game at the very beginning. So I'm actually
Okay.
going to keep this game pretty simple, trying something a little different. I tried it last week as well. And I want you to imagine that you have won just come into $5 million. I would like to hear the first three things that you look to do with this money.
With $5 million
Yes,
in COVID times.
at any time.
All right. So this is not COVID times. I would quit my job.
Hmm.
I would um put money, invest $2 million across my three businesses,
Hmm.
right? Make sure that they're in a position and I have processes in place that I don't need to be there for them to run to consistently make me money.
Hmm.
Invest 1 million and then travel the world.
Nice. Okay. So I'm glad you said what you said.
Mm-hmm.
You said you would quit your job.
Yeah,
So along with the three businesses that you have, you still have
a full
a day
full
job.
time 9 to 5. That's right.
So how you manage all of that?
Um, I manage it with consistent time management,
Hmm.
regular breaks, strong self care, and just I believe strongly in processes and systems.
Hmm.
Um, so I just make every hour that I function make matter for me. So I work
Okay.
9 to 5, but my businesses are still running. I schedule social media posts on Sundays. I make content on Sundays. I come home. I spend a couple hours with my kids, and then when they're in bed, I'm working, and then I make sure that I'm off anything to do with the device. Sometimes, hopefully, by 10 o'clock, but sometimes not. But
Hmm.
that's just a small sacrifice I'm doing right now for the legacy that I'm building. So it
Okay.
doesn't matter.
Nice. Okay. All right. So let's jump into the first official question, so to speak.
Right?
What is the brilliant audacious, dynamic goal that or dream that inspires you to start this particular business, the virtual assistant?
Okay, so it's twofold. As my bio said, the virtual assistant originally started out of necessity. I had quit
Mm-hmm.
a job, and at that point, and still right now, I am a very spunky, do what I want to do individual. I don't take well with people telling me what to do. Yes, I still enjoy working for people, but I know in my mind, and I knew from a very young age that I was not meant to be an employee for very long. I know it had to be a part of my journey for me to get where I am, but it was not going to be my only and my final destination. So I had quit a job for whatever reasons, and I decided I am at that point not working for nobody. I'm not going back to being in a 9 to 5. I started my own business, but I don't want to do what everybody else doing. So I went to trusty Google. Go on Google and I typed in, what do stay-at-home moms in the US do? Jobs for stay-at-home moms, and virtual assistants popped up. So it was not something that was popular at that time in Barbados. Yes, you had people who were admin geared that would help, or admin verse that would help people with, like, just dealing with their accounts or organizing an office space for them, but no one that did it full out, and labeled it as virtual assistant. So I was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
this seems interesting. This is right up my alley. Customer service, admin assistant, administrative assistants, and customer service is what my strengths are. So I can make money doing this. And then I was always surrounded by a lot of entrepreneurs. A lot of my friends have their own businesses, graphic designers. So my network was at that time upcoming with a lot of people who were in business for themselves. And they always complained about hating to do admin, hating to do invoicing. So I was like, all right, well, here we go. I started that business then.
Mm-hmm.
Now, though, over 7 years of changes and movements, like, it has gone from a need base or something started out of a necessity to something that's ran strictly off of passion. I love what I do. So my move was, instead of making it that I just wanted it to be money, I made the foundation of my business passion, just a straight love for helping busy entrepreneurs just streamline everything that they do and focus on what they love to do, and just release all the other stuff that they find is bogging them down or keeping them back, or just something that they're not enjoying. I like to do it. Let me do it. So my bold move was from need to passion base.
Okay, nice. All right. So you talked about the fact that you started the business out of necessity and it actually turned into
Mm-hmm.
passion. So just so that people have a better idea of what it is that you do, could you explain what some of your services are, what exactly you do?
Okay. So and I call myself a virtual administrative professional assistant. And I have a very, I don't want to say an opinion about the word assistant. There's nothing wrong with it, but I feel like admins across the board are looked down on. And
Mm-hmm.
in any organization, and it not to like be bold or like, bragging, most organizations cannot run without their admin. Cannot.
It's
It
true.
cannot function
Mm-hmm.
without an admin assistant. They don't know the basics. They don't know where anything is. They never know how the admin has the relationships with everything that makes everything in the back end run.
Mm-hmm.
So my title is, I changed my title to virtual administrative professional. So take the position of an admin that you would have in an office and just remove the brick and mortar and put it remotely.
Mm-hmm.
So I provide social media management, email management, digital marketing services. I help people manage and streamline their CRM or their customer relations management systems. So like MailChimp and that kind of thing. I do a little bit of event planning, or I can work on the back ends of an event. What else do I do? Yeah, calendar management and anything to do with assisting the entrepreneur. I have packages, yes. I have things there that you can pick from, but I like to have conversations with my clients and let them tell me what you don't like to do. Just highlight every single thing you don't like to do, and that is what I will see how I can help you with. A lot of people know, because business has changed and it's more digital, a lot of people want more help with like social media management. They want help with kind of like their newsletters and building newsletters and that kind of thing. So that's where I come in and I kind of tell them, okay, tell me what your themes are for your month of social media. Let's create the content, let's structure it in a calendar, let's schedule it on a scheduling tool, and then you go do what you love to do. And your Instagram is already out there pushing up posts with a caption, with a call to action and everything already scheduled and everything by me while you do what you do. So yeah, social media management, calendar management, digital marketing, and administrative tasks generally is what you can get from the virtual assistant.
Okay. Mm, 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 mm. What obstacles would you say you would have met over the time in this particular role?
Obstacles. There were quite a few. People, as much as in a 9 to 5 or in a business setting, people saw the importance of the admin. Entrepreneurs don't. Entrepreneurs do not like to delegate. They hate help. They scream for it, but when it comes time to get it and to release, they hate to do it. So I had a period where I fought battles of explaining why you need my service. So then I changed it to just telling you, give me 30 days and I'll let my work show you why you need me. I fought battles. I'd be back and forth on bartering, and I don't negotiate anymore. I just let my work speak for itself. Like battles with and I find in small the entrepreneurial network, we don't treat each other really well. It's changing, but we don't treat each other with well, I find. You would have a entrepreneur would come to me and say they want service or they want business, and I don't think I should have to battle with an entrepreneur for payment. I should have to battle with an entrepreneur for respect, because it's hard for us as small business owners to try to get up there and get respect that we deserve. I feel amongst our community, our small community, we should grind and rally for each other. So the same way that you have your prices and you stick to your prices, if I give you a price, you should not be telling me, but my use a small business like me, we should know, because I can't do that with you. I wouldn't want to do that with you because that's your price. So some of those obstacles were, and again, I've seen trends change over 7 years. Things are changing, things are developing, but definitely trying to explain and let people understand the importance of help, and the fact that entrepreneurs hate to delegate, hate to release anything. They hold everything right here. So that's always a battle.
Okay. My question as it relates to that, and I guess from my experience too, is it really that they necessarily hate delegating, or is it a case where sometimes they don't have the clarity as to what items they need to delegate? One of the things I've observed is that sometimes when it's time to delegate, you start to realize that you do not know exactly what you want a person to do. And because you are not able to articulate it, then you find yourself in a position where I can't let this go because I don't even know what I need for her to do. So how do you work around or walk persons through that particular phase?
I am a big advocate for communication. I have conversations with my clients, straight, frank conversations. And you're very correct. Sometimes people are so much accustomed to just winging it. They can't necessarily tell you what it is they need help with. They know they're overwhelmed. They know that they're dropping the ball on certain things, but they can't necessarily say exactly what. So I just walk through a day. I just ask them, tell me a day of your life. Tell me a day of your business. What exactly in a day do you do? And we do it by levels of priority. How important is this? How important is this? How necessary is this? And then some clients have it together and some don't. And we have to literally peel back each layer of that onion to figure out, okay, your emails overwhelm you, so you don't look at them. So right now you have 2,000 unread or read but not actioned emails. So then that's a priority because that's your main source of communication with your client. So we have to get into the email. You don't necessarily do paid marketing and you have an Instagram page, but you're not converting your followers to customers. So we need to do something with your Instagram. And then, okay, maybe you have a cell phone that you ask customers to WhatsApp to place orders, but customers have to wait for 2 days before they're responded to. That's a problem because that's money that's sitting there that you're not tending to. So you need a customer service element, you need someone to manage your email, and you need social media management. And straight off the bat, I've released 3 things from you that you don't have to be in the back of your mind worrying how you're going to get them done. And it frees up more time for you to master and focus on the actual thing that you do that you enjoy. So it comes down to very, very heavy conversation. We have conversations sometimes I meet 2-3 times with a client before anything gets started to really make sure that you're getting the correct service that is for your business, and that you're comfortable knowing what is being handled by a third party.
Okay. All right. Before we go on, let me just remind persons that you are free to drop any comments in the chat or ask any questions that you would like Rhasheda to answer throughout the course of the interview. So what kind of shifts would you say that you would have had to make in your perspective over the years?
There were 3 major ones I had to do. I had to get out of my head, I had to trust the process, and I had to always stay true to Rhasheda. So I'll break those down. The get out of my head, I had to understand and embrace that every thought, every idea, every venture that comes into my head is possible. I can action it. Getting out of my head entailed that, or I had to understand that I possess the knowledge, and if I don't possess the knowledge, I can get the knowledge. I have a network around me that has someone that I can have a conversation with, or that they can put me into contact with that person. And then that, I have the capabilities to reach out to people to figure out, okay, what direction do I need to go? I can embrace people and ask questions. But I had to get out of my head, and I stayed in my head for a very long time because if I am a perfectionist, so if it's not perfect, I will not do it. And I had to get to the point of do it, perfect or not, just do it, right? Trust the process. It's a process. Business is a process. It does not happen overnight. I've wanted to shelf this business about 4 different times. I've shelved it completely twice where I did nothing related to the virtual assistant at all. But there's something that always burns like deep in your gut, that nings in the back of your head like, Rhasheda, what are you doing? Why are you not posting? Why are you not marketing? Why are you not doing this? And it should never just be based on when you feel like things that you're 9 to 5 are about to go left. All of a sudden you perk up and you're like, okay, I need to get back here because I need money. If it's going to be based on that, don't do it. It doesn't make any sense. Entrepreneurial life is not for you. You could just probably do something on the side just to ensure that you have a consistent stream of income. But if it is that you know that this is something that you want to do regardless of left or right, it has to be based on consistency. So the process is you have to consistently build and consistently trust that every step that you take is in the right direction. You may trip, you may stumble, you may have to go down and come back up the steps again, but it's a consistent process up. It's not an overnight win. It is not easy by any means, but you have to trust that process. And staying true to me, my personality is a big one. I have a very full mouth. I am a risk taker. I I'm a lot. I am a lot. My personality is very big, and I sometimes would shrink myself to fit a mold, and there is no mold that can hold me, and that's a part of my business. There is no mold that can fit me, and nobody is me, and I am nobody, and that is the beauty of it. So I bring that into everything, and there are bad parts of me too that I feel like, as people in general, we don't necessarily try to fix or embrace or be transparent about the negative sides of us. We are not all perfect, and that's a part of who you are as well. And I mean, I feel like just be you consistently across the board. Be you, and if you have to change who you are, just like how you change your branding, you can change who you are, but consistently make who you are a part of the brand that you own and represent, period. So get out of your head, trust the process, and be you always.
Okay, so when you talk about changing who you are, you're
Yeah.
really looking at growth more so than any, well,
Growth more so
right.
than, yeah, like if you can't stay where you started 7 years ago. Like I
Mm-hmm.
could never have been making the strides that I made so far if I've had the mentality that I still had when I first started this. I would be nowhere where I am near today. But growth, consistent healthy growth, is what I mean by if you want to change who you are. That's very doable.
What kind of steps have you been making to maintain consistency in your growth over the year?
I had to get over fear of
Mm-hmm.
failure. I had a fear of failure for years. And because I hate to fail, I never did anything. I was like, if I don't do it, I can't fail. I ain't doing nothing. So
Mm-hmm.
let me just not do it. That way, if it don't work, then hey, nobody can laugh at me. Nobody can say that it didn't work. Nobody can, you know what I mean? So I went from being fearful and just doing the bare minimum to running a virtual assistant. I launched a t-shirt and a podcast in the middle of a pandemic. I've never had any kind of training on a mic, on a radio, and I have a 6 episode podcast, yeah, running, and a full t-shirt line running without any not. It's you want to do it, do it. If it fails, it fails, because then you'll learn how to do it better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so do it. It's scary because I was like, what if I don't like my t-shirts? Suppose that these t-shirts don't sell, like, what are you gonna do? Then I will sell something else. Suppose nobody don't sign up to listen to this podcast, like, I can look real stupid. All my guests gonna laugh at me, all right? But at least I have connections with people that in the event that I want to do it again, when I have a season 2, which is in the making, I have that network. Suppose people decide that they may want to help and them just want to do them social media themselves, because 7 years ago we didn't have anywhere near the amount of apps, schedulers, graphic designing things, and everything is free. People can run a business on their own, but for how long? And when you want to scale, what will happen? You need help. So you always have to figure that out. Fear was a crippling thing for me, and sometimes it still is. Fear and self-doubt. Oh, I doubt myself so bad sometimes.
It's amazing how they go
Worse.
hand in hand, you know.
Listen, hey, that voice in your head is be like, girl, what are you doing? What are you doing? You better stop that. Like, no, that's not gonna work. You have to shut that body up and just do it.
Sorry, just jotting a note.
Sure.
All right. So I'm going to tear a little leaf out of Rashida's book right now, and I'm going to drop a little plug here, right? I am actually in the process of developing my first online course that's called How to Design Your Dynamic Goal. And shortly, I'll be opening up for pre-order. So if there's anyone who's interested in pre-ordering the course, please let me know, and I'll send information to you throughout the course of this week. That's my plug.
There you
Right?
go.
No, I want to find out what life was like for you 7 years ago. No, let's think. What was life for you like 5 years ago as opposed to how it is now.
5 years ago, I did not have my youngest son.
Mm-hmm.
So I had one child. 5 years ago, was I working? Yes, I was in a 9 to 5 still. Um, and I think at that point is one of the periods I had shelved the virtual assistant. So I was not doing anything with my business. I was just literally going from day to day. Not very fearful, very full of self-doubt, not thinking that that was the right direction for me to go in, and not very confident at all with anything to do with business. I would take small jobs here and there if somebody wanted like a database built or wanted some letters typed or wanted help with the CV, but like major straight, I was very much in a place of, I'm not doing this, I'm done. I don't need this stress. I'll just work this job, retire at 65, and everything, raise my child and live my life like a normal, boring, sorry, no, not boring, but normal person, right? And not take risks. But yeah, so that was me 5 years ago versus now where I am working a full-time job, still running the virtual assistant and royalties designs, in the process of opening a digital marketing company, and a podcast will be housed under that. Very, very confident, still fearful, but healthily, and I get over those fears, and never afraid to fail, not afraid to say no. I know who my ideal client is across the board. Always open to making new connections and doing things like this and just getting my face out there, where before Instagram for me was about posting food and makeup, but now it's a money making tool that I use and encourage my clients to use, and I am not afraid to get in front of a camera. So 5 years then, compared business wise especially, lots of growth, confidence through the roof, and just ready to see where 5, 10, 15 years takes me. 15 years I'll be retired by then for sure, but yeah.
Okay. So that being said, where do you see yourself and your businesses in the next 5 years?
5 years for each of them. Okay, for the virtual assistant, I want to have a team of virtual assistants providing service both locally, regionally, and internationally. Not want to, I will have a virtual assistant firm. My t-shirt brand will be international and known, and the digital marketing company will be known across the board for providing a complete service from beginning to end for the best marketing representation on island. Yeah, so you will be a small business and come to my digital marketing firm, and when you leave, you will be fully branded, fully known online, without having to jump through hoops and not understand the process. You come to my company, and it's a one-stop shop. So across the board, and probably my businesses will be running with more structured processes, and not necessarily needing me consistently there. They'll just be running. They'll be scaling and making me lots and lots of money.
Good stuff. Good night, Dr. Batter. And as she just dropped a comment in the chat, I'm just going to invite persons once again. Feel free to drop any comments or questions in the chat as we go through the interview. Okay? So, you mentioned that in 5 years you were looking to have a team of virtual assistants that provide services locally, regionally, and internationally. And it actually reminded me of a question I wanted to ask earlier. Do you provide services outside of Barbados? No.
Yes, I have clients who I work with in the US and Canada. Yeah, so I offer services internationally.
Okay, that's great. So then what advice would you have to persons who are also looking to step out into the international market with their business?
To not put your business in a bubble. Anything you create for your business, you have to think as if you are a I think I usually when I communicate with people, I say we. Right now, it's only me. I am everything: marketing, admin, everything. But I always speak in we, because at some point in time, there will be a we. So you have to always, in your brain from jump, believe that your business is a multi-million-dollar conglomerate. That's how I operate. So I don't put my business in a bubble. Any advertising I put out, any marketing I put out, anything that is out there, I always think of the how far it can go. Instagram especially is not a bubble. People can see your page from all over the world. So your followers and the people who get eyes on your page are potential customers regardless of where they live. So you have to operate. If you provide a service, you have to be able to know that your payment systems are open to international people. If you sell a product, you have to figure out how you're going to incorporate shipping, handling, packaging. All that comes down to the integrity of your pricing, because it's not only a local component that you can drop off and only charge for gas. You may have to ship it to Australia. Are you ready to do that? So it takes research, and it's every component of your business. How much you price your stuff at, the cost of packaging, the cost of all your ingredients. If you make a product or you make a item, all your costing, everything. Can you right now, if you make oils, can you ship 20 oils to Australia? Do you know what it takes to do that? Even if you've never had a conversation with an Australian customer before. So you have to think like that before you get there. Research, always as if you are targeting customers. The world is your customer base.
Okay, so it's really about having a vision and then doing the necessary research and taking the necessary steps to make that vision become a reality, so to speak.
For sure.
Yeah.
You have to think big in all aspects. It's not just thinking big as to how much you want to make, but it's thinking big in what your reach will be. And ensuring that once you have that reach, that you can do what needs to do to convert that reach into customers consistently.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, what is one change that you had to make about yourself or in your life to create the success that you see today?
I mentioned it earlier. I had to change my why and stay true to my why. It's two things. I mentioned them before. Instead of just doing it as I'm gonna telling me what to do, I'm not doing nobody work, I can work for myself. I had to change my why to I want to be a consistent avenue for entrepreneurs to have the help that they need in their business, whether male, female. They can come to the virtual assistant to get their business streamlined and structured and the assistance and help that they require to work better. That's my why. And then I had to get over my fear of failure. That was the bigger one. Structuring a why can come with experience and really getting to know the path that you choose. If that's the path you want to go on, a why will come. It comes, and when that comes, then things start to fall into place a lot better because your foundation is different. But that fear of failure is huge because, oh, thank you so much. That fear of failure is huge. It will cripple you. It will stop you from getting anywhere. And once you get over that, and fear is healthy. Like, it's okay to fear stuff. Change. People hate change. It has to happen. People fear is huge, and it's okay to be afraid, but you got to do it anyway. You have to do it anyway. You have to do it. Scared out of your mind, you have to do it. And scared of failing. There's nothing wrong with failing. That was my issue. I thought that I was less than, or people will look at me and not think that I know what I'm talking about, or not or think that I don't know my niche if I failed. But I feel like I will only get stronger if in my niche when I fail, because then I know what I'm doing wrong. I do it wrong, fail, say, okay, that don't work, don't do it again, do this, and go from there. Because if you consistently stay where you're doing it wrong, you're not going to grow. So fail, and fail fabulously and beautifully, and get up and go again. So those are the two things I had to really get over, and it's still a process. I still fear failure sometimes, but you have to have that conversation with yourself, like, girl, you got this. If you fail, okay, and then we can do the rest. So establishing my why and getting over fear of failing, those are the two things I really had to change.
So as it relates to the fear of failing, then it's really about tapping into your courage rather than tapping into your fears.
You tap into the fear too. Like okay, like you could use the fear to drive you. I don't want to call it adrenaline, but like you can use that fear to drive you, because you're telling yourself, what if I fail? But what if you don't? It's almost like you'd be challenging yourself. You gonna fail? Now we're failing. No, we're doing it. We're doing it. We're going to do it. And that voice will try to talk you out of it. Trust me, I know. You will try to talk yourself out of it. But prove yourself wrong. And I am not mad, but it feels so good to look in the mirror to be like, see, we got it done. We got it done. What would have happened if we did not do it? You would have feel real stupid. No, I am not crazy, but you have that is kind of like the pep talks you almost have to have with yourself when you're going through certain things. Yes, you could do this. Yes, you are capable. Yes, you are scared out of your mind, but we can do it anyway. So it's like tap into the fear, overcome the fear, and bring the courage out too. God, some of us don't always have as much courage as it takes to do things, and that fear rush, that rush of I can do it anyway, is really what pushes us to do it anyway. You know, prove yourself wrong, and then anything is gravy from there.
Okay, so we have 2 comments here. We have Better saying that we salute you. Oh no, 3. And Kathleen saying most inspiring, and
Thank you.
Queenie Cat saying good stuff, sis.
Thanks, sis.
All right. Something I wanted to ask you just dropped right out of my head. All right, so I'll move on to the next question, and as soon as I remember it, I will ask you.
Sure.
So, what is your definition of success?
Ooh. My definition of success is knowing that I made the right choice when it comes to a career. I don't tie success to money or material things. I mean, yes, of course, you're real. Like, it feels good to see a couple commas in your bank account. It feels good to know that you can purchase things comfortably because of your hard work and where you've been put financially. It feels good to know when people recognize you and you get accolades and stuff like that. But I think success comes with 2 things. When you empower people from your success, you empower people out of that, and knowing that you are doing the right thing. It's really hard to be successful and miserable because you're not enjoying it. You're just gaining from working. But are you enjoying it? Are you empowering people? Are you creating the rungs of the ladder on beneath you for people to come up with you? Are you creating and leaving a legacy? Are your children proud to say they work with you? You know what I mean? Like, it's about legacy. It's about, yes, we want to be a household name. Yes, we want to have this Instagram fame. Like, Instagram is fine. It's fine, but I want in 15 years that my legacy continues. And I said it earlier, in 15 years, I do not intend to be working anywhere at all. I will be old enough in 50 years that I feel like my businesses, and I know there will be more, should be operational and functioning and making me money and empowering people. Like, I just have a vision of a network of happy, inspired, educated people who can continue to branch off and make legacies for themselves. So I feel like success is the ability to empower people to be successful themselves, and to know that you're doing consistently doing the right thing. I think that that's the epitome of success for me.
Okay. So you mentioned legacy.
Mm-hmm.
What legacy would you say you are leaving?
She did not stop, and she
Mm.
never took no for an answer. That is the legacy that I intend to, and I'm continuously working to leave behind. I want my kids to understand what a hard and appreciate a woman who works hard, um, and a woman who led from service. I think the best leader is the leader who can serve. And in order for you to be able to run conglomerates and have multi-million-dollar companies, you have to understand first and foremost the foundation of service. If you cannot serve your customer, your client, they won't trust you, they won't refer you, they won't continually do business with you, so you won't grow. So my legacy is that of, she never stopped. She won't. And her businesses won't. And anything she represents will be a consistent factor, will be a consistent known entity, um, wherever it is.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What kind of changes have you had to make in your relationships over time? And
Which
this could,
relationships?
you pick. It could be any relationship. It could be your relationship with yourself, your relationship with intimate person, parents, children, people.
I think when you fortify who you are, and your relationship with you
Mhm.
is strong, you will attract have who you need in your space, whether it's personal, family, friends, whatever. People tend to disappear when your mindset change. It just happens because you don't align with them anymore, right? So I feel like the first relationship you should ensure is the strongest is your relationship with God or whoever you see as a higher power. Um, and then your relationship with yourself, your boundaries, what you will take and will not take, what you stand for and you don't stand for, who you are as a person. And when you
Mhm.
have that strong foundation and that relationship with yourself, who is in alignment with you or who you are at that point will find you. So for me, I had to change the self-talk that I used to have of, yeah, I can't get this done, or you're too good, that's not good enough, you're not good enough for that. I had to start talking to myself more positively. I had to start talking to myself better and a little firm, because sometimes I would try to maneuver my way out of stuff. So you have to have strong conversations, and your self-talk has to be positive. That
Mhm.
voice in your head has to always be a positive voice. um, and once you get in alignment with the right direction, who needs to be around you, who needs to be in your corner, will find it and will come.
Okay. Let's talk support systems because you did say that you work full-time job, you're a mother of two, and on top of that, you have these three businesses and about to have another one
Right,
um, another business baby on the way, so to speak.
right.
How important is it for you to have support systems?
Very. It is. I am nothing without, and my support system is tiny but mighty. Um, It doesn't have to be huge. Again, faith is a big part of it. Faith is a huge part of it. Belief in self is a big part of it. But physically, sometimes you just physically need help. Like my parents are very supportive. My sisters, both of them are in the life right now. I have a cousin who's very supportive as well. And you never know who is watching you. You never know who you inspire quietly in the background. And that is a support system too. People who may not necessarily have a conversation with you, but will refer your service, or will tell someone about the t-shirt, or will send someone the link about the podcast. Your support systems are visible and invisible too. But my visible support system is small but mighty. And I will not be where I am without that circle. I strongly believe in, even if it is one accountability partner, I have 6. That would be like, oi, no, don't do that. Don't do it. Go and do that. But don't do it. Okay. And they're different. There's some that are harsh. That would be like, that's a stupid idea. Don't do it because of this, and this. And then there are some that will be like, okay, but if you do that, you know that this will happen. But regardless, I'm going to be here. I'm both harsh and soft. They will not leave my side. But I think sometimes you need a healthy balance of, the little red angel and the little white angel that literally lives on your shoulder. Like, you need a healthy balance of that. And I have a healthy balance of that in my small little support system. But I think it's very, very important. And I love them dearly, all 6 of them, with everything in me. So I know that I would not be here without them.
Excellent. I have Drina Allen in the chat giving you a high 5.
Yes.
Or a high 10, I guess. Okay, so following on from that, what would you say support means? Because what I've observed over time is that people see support in different ways, So what does having support mean to you as not only an entrepreneur, but as a professional woman, a woman that's actually working?
Support can span so many different things. Support is someone who sits down next to you quietly while you cry. Bawl. Don't say a word. Pass you the tissue. Don't judge your snot. Just there. Support is someone who invests and buys your product. Support is that person who will cuss you out. It may be harsh, but they cuss you out. Sometimes you need that. Support for me is the person or the action of a person that regardless puts me in the right direction, or gives me the right advice, or tells me when I am wrong. I am very stubborn. I'm very, very pig-headed. You can't tell me nothing when my mind made up. Nothing. You better come with poor hard facts and data to show me why this is not going to work. And even then, and you'd be like, I used to do it. I will be the one to come back and be like, you was right. And they will look at me like, we know. Will they judge me for being pig-headed? No. Will they cuss me out? Yes. Will I take the constructive criticism? Because that's why I see cussing out as. I don't take anything personal. That's very hard to do. I do not take anything personal. When someone tells me I'm wrong, I'm like, okay, show me why I'm wrong. In the back of my mind, I'm like, no, I'm right, but all right, show me why I'm wrong. So support can come down to that person telling you you're doing utter nonsense. You need to do better. And you not taking it personal as an attack, but as someone extending their hand to say, let's do this the right way, come this way, or listen to what I have to say. But support does not always have to be monetary. It does not always have to be like a kind word and prayers. And sometimes support is just presence, just someone being there. Support is encouragement, like, Rhasheda, yes, you can do this. Or Chamara, yes, you can have that course. You can do that course. Just that. So I take any positive gesture as a support system, anything, even if it is people saying that, you know, we salute you and high-fiving me. Like, I see that as a support. As I tell you, don't know who's watching you. You never know who's in your corner, virtually or in, you know, in real life. Like, you don't know who is rooting for you. And all of that I see as a support system.
Okay. Making a decision. Okay, so talked about support system. I was just thinking that sometimes we see people have particular ideas of what support is, and then they see anybody that disagrees with them as not supporting them, right? It could, and that's not necessarily the case. It's just sometimes that
Correct.
some people are just, you know, showing you what they think might be best for you, even if you know it might not
Right.
be what's best for you. And and you were talking about taking it personally. So I also observed that when those things happen, people do tend to take that personally, and they cut down bridges or cut, you know, that don't need to be
Cut.
severed. You
Yeah.
understand? So what advice would you give to persons who are getting support, but it's not exactly the support that they are anticipating?
Remember that people are entitled to their opinions, and everyone does not think like you. Everyone does
Mhm.
not think like you. Everyone's thought process is not yours, and yours is not theirs. And opinions and input sometimes can be life changers or situation savers, because their perspective can make you find a solution, or thank you, they could someone's perspective could change the way you view certain things. Like, your mind could have been hell bent on something, or you could have been stuck somewhere not being able to get a solution, and someone's completely different perspective triggers a light bulb.
Mhm.
Why people get offended is because it hurts, and most of the time is the truth, and they don't like it, so they get offended, and they think, instead of, let me just listen and take in the constructive, I look at everything as constructive criticism. It's to make me better, so tell me better, a better version of me, tell me. I had to learn that very, very early, because when you work for people, when you have a 9 to 5, you're going to get told that you're doing nonsense at some point in time. At some point in time, you're going to be told, well, Miss Skeete, we feel like if you're not handling this task properly. Okay, so how do you think I should best handle it? Or can we work together to handle it? You got to look at life the same way. Somebody could come in and somebody could say, but this t-shirt that you selling, my t-shirt line is a completely black t-shirt line. I love black. The basis of my t-shirt line, there's a reason why I went for that color. But there are people out there who don't like black clothes. That's not my
Mhm.
target market. And there are people who have said to me, but you don't want to embrace different colors. Then I start a conversation. So I see that then as, let me use this as a teachable moment to break down why I chose this for my business, and to engage this person in conversation. Let me see how their perspective could possibly impact my business. And maybe this person could just have planted a seed that could grow into something better. So I feel like you have to, people get offended when people hit nails. That's really was the underlying thing. When people hit nails of truth and it's hurt that little part, like, jeez, you don't want to admit that it's the truth. It's the truth. It may hurt. The truth is hurt sometimes, but you have to get it. You have to get. And no one that doesn't genuinely care for you, very seldom people that don't genuinely have your best interest at heart will tell you the harsh truth. Those are people I want around me. The ones that are comfortable telling me the harsh truth for my betterment, not to hurt me, but to make me better. So if you can look at it from that place of, this person must be telling me this because they see my potential. They see that this information can help me and make me grow. This is some person that is for me and not against me. I'm not going to take it personal. I'm going to tell you, okay, tell me. And trust me, it took me a while to get to this place. It took me a while. You can tell me nothing. Could not. But when you run a business and you got a vision of there's going to be, sometimes I may have to, when I have staff, I'm going to have to correct them. So if I can't be corrected, how am I going to be able to correct somebody? Well, it starts with me. It starts with me as a leader. I have to be able to, whatever it is I'm going to dolo, I have to take it. So once you get to the place of this person is coming from a genuine place, let me use it as a stepping stone and not as a dagger. You're good to go.
Okay. So we got some comment. So Secret Agent is saying great outlook on support. Lady Beijing was saying true. I can't remember exactly which point he was saying that to. I took mental
Think
note, but
about
then
not taking it personal and taking it as a stepping stone.
Okay. Right. Salmon's design group is saying absolutely we have Queen Cat saying indeed. And Lady Beijing is saying people need to pull back and listen to the criticism and not take it as an attack all the time. So everybody's pretty much in agreement with what you're saying.
For
now,
sure.
there was something you said and the way you said it, right? That the word attitude came to mind. Right? And I get it. I know I would have had my time working as an admin assistant, and then there were times when it felt like everybody was on my case, and then I pull up, is this attitude that was wrong with all these people?
Right.
You know, understand? Everybody always on my case.
Yeah.
You know, so how did you manage to hone your attitude, like to make that attitude shift from like everybody on my case to this is something that I can learn from?
Right. I don't even know if I hold my attitude, to be honest. I still have it. It's there, but growth and time and really good communication. Because I could be typing like this, but my email doesn't reflect that. Or I've learned the art of a very stoic expression. And again, if you just what is genuine was not as there people who are just very, very true.
I don't read it out, all right.
In time, as you grow and you learn to people manage, because you have to know how to manage expectations. First things first, you have to know how to manage expectations. People will have expectations of you in whatever capacity and role you possess. You have to learn to manage those. Once you learn to manage expectations, then you then have to learn how to deal with people and their girl. See, everyone's like, this is a work in progress. It really, really is. Managing expectations. People and you as a person, you have to set boundaries, especially if you know how you respond to certain things. You have to set boundaries. You have to let people understand what you will and will not take. Period. From the highest person to the janitor to the minute, you have to let people understand what your work ethic is, what you stand for, who you are, and always let your work speak for you. People need to understand that you are a vital part of a network, and your work, only your work can speak for you. You could talk all you like, but only your work can say that for you, and who you are can say that for you. So controlling attitude necessarily may not need to happen if you just manage expectations to the point where people wouldn't need to be in your face all the time. It's not gonna happen, but I will say just try to people give you all kind of advice, smile through it, you know, stoic expression. Thank God for COVID, not everything is on Zoom, so sometimes you just don't have to see people. I miss interacting
The
in front of,
interaction.
I'm very much a people's person. So I
Mm-hmm.
love that. But you just have to manage expectations and communicate effectively and efficiently. And I think that helps with having to not have sass. But for somebody that sass drips all over them, sometimes it gets very hard. But that comes with age and maturity and just knowing how to communicate well, and just, when and where is very important. Sometimes they need to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've sometimes you need to see that you are annoying me. Can you not send this in an email? Can this not be a conversation? Can this not be? But then you can, thank God, then you can communicate and say that to them, like, based on da 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 da. Could we do this as an email? Like, just the way you communicate. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Sometimes, a lot of the times, as where miscommunications come, is not necessarily what you say, but how you say it. And people can misinterpret things. Just communication, I feel like good communication goes a very, very long way.
Yeah. Okay, so Andrina is saying that the trick is to know what is genuine and what is not, as there are people who are just vindictive and jealous, which is true. This is
Facts.
something that even in trying to teach my daughter, sometimes you just have to look past the people who are being difficult. Once you can handle the
Right.
people who are being difficult, you should be good to go straight through. Right?
Agreed.
Um, Lee the Bajan is laughing. I don't know what he laughing at. Right? Queenie Cats, this is a work in progress. And I very much agree because I have a friend that always tells me that sometimes you just need to learn some tact, right? And people tell you things and you want to say the first thing that pops up into your head, but you actually need to
For sure.
take a little breath and just tactfully maneuver around the situation. And sometimes things turn out a lot better than they would have if you just said what came to mind.
Blurted out what came to mind.
Um,
Agreed.
all right. And then Queenie Cass is saying, thank God for mass.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if that really works for me because my a lot of my expression,
Is in your eyes.
yes,
Yeah.
you know. So some people it will work out with the mask, but yeah, that don't work for me. Um, Lady Beijing agreed. Clear communication is key. I really do agree with that. And I mean, we could actually even go on to talk about barriers to communication because sometimes people don't realize that just like you said, it's not what you say, but how you say it. A little
Correct.
change in tone has a
Tone.
completely different effect
Correct.
on how people perceive what it is that you're saying.
Yep.
So those are things that you really need to think about when you are looking at how you communicate with people. And tone doesn't even just mean voices. It could be the tone of an email, tone of
I
a
was just about
text
to say
message.
that. I had a
Mhm.
whole conversation with somebody trying to convince me that emails and text messages don't have, WhatsApp messages don't have tone. And I was like, you have got to be
Um,
mad. Emails don't have tone?
sometimes, sometimes, right? The reality of the situation is sometimes the challenge is that the tone is in the person who is reading, you know, the
Yeah.
tone is in the head of the person who is reading sometimes. But
Right.
there are times, just based on how you phrase certain things, you can get the
Emails have
complete.
tones, of course. Communication across the board have tone.
Mhm,
You
mhm,
you
mhm.
you can you can word things differently, and get, you can say the same thing in several different ways and get several different responses. Punctuation is made, some sentences go left or right,
Oh,
and people
mhm.
have to understand communication is not just verbal. We have to work
Yep.
actively on all counts of communication to make sure that you're getting the correct message across.
Yep.
Facial too. Oh yeah. I've
Mhm.
had people had conversations with me and rolled their eyes. Don't do that. That's rude. That's so rude. Like, roll their eyes. Or I've been on the phone with people and they would say, when I act like, oh, we have time today. I have time today. I have time today. Those kind of people, like, I call it teachable moments. And I let you
Mhm, mhm.
understand then this is not how you do things. This is not how you communicate with people. So communication is a whole other, that's a
Yeah,
whole
whole
other
other
vein.
conversation.
Like, and we
Mhm,
still as a
mhm.
society, I believe, need to work on the way we communicate things in on all levels. It's just
Yeah.
sometimes it's very, very poor.
Okay. So before we close,
Mhm.
because we've passed our hour, communication is vital in business. I agree very much, Secret
It's
Lady.
vital, period. Period.
I'm going to mention two things. My first thing is that when I see you here, I think of Rashida Foundation, right? I feel
Uh-huh.
so proud. I mean, like your personality is pretty much the same, still very cheerful,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
everything, but the growth, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I can
thank you so much. Thank you.
so
That
much
means a
growth.
lot.
I'm very proud to know you. And
Thank you.
secondly, before we forget,
Mm-hmm.
Rashida has a giveaway tonight. And I would have posed the question, my children are running around the background for some reason, right? I have posed a question today asking persons to list one thing that Rashida offers as a service.
Mm-hmm.
And I would very safely say that the winner is a gentleman called Lindsay Graves. And he won because he messaged me on WhatsApp telling me that Rashida does content management. And then he turned around and he messaged me on Instagram telling me that she does social media management.
Oh,
So he has done both first and second
he
in
made
this whole thing.
sure he won his prize. What is the person's
Exactly.
name?
Lindsay Graves. So I will send you his IG information
Okay.
and his contact information as well so
Okay.
that you can reach out to him and he can claim his praise.
Very good. Congratulations, Lindsay Graves. You've won yourself one free 30-minute consultation with the virtual assistant and 2 weeks of social media management on your professional IG page, IG and or Facebook. So I will get into contact with you and we will discuss, what exactly it is you want and how we can get started.
Right, thank you. So, Rashida, I would like to take this time to thank you very much for joining me tonight. And I also want to thank everyone for joining the call and for your interaction throughout the course of the call. I really enjoyed tonight's call and I look forward to interacting with you in the future.
For sure. Thank you so much for having me. Thanks to everyone who would have commented and for being here and for staying the time in the course. Until next time, enjoy the rest of your
Bye.
evening. Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.